Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. My name's Michael and I'm bitten by a radioactive bug. Today I want to talk to you about the 10 series I'd like to finish in 2024. So, why are we doing this? Actually, when it comes to finishing series, I'm rather awful at it. I have like a huge, oh, shiny new book syndrome, and so I've started about 142 series where I at least own the whole series or the first or more than the first book, and I've been in the middle of these series. So I'd like to finish some of them this year, and I want to talk to you about which ones these are. First off, we're doing something which is way more than a series. It's the big project of the year. It's the year of Cosmere. So I want to reread a lot of the Cosmere books because I always have read the books, most of them, first Mistborn trilogy, Elantris, Warbreaker, A Way of Kings, way before I even knew that there is something like the Cosmere, like an interconnected way of storytelling, overarching through all of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere worlds. And so I'm really intrigued if rereading most of the books changes that with knowing something about that Cosmere thing in the back of my mind, or if it stays more like the same. But I thought with Stormlight 5 coming out towards the end of the year, that would be a good project to start with. And I've already read Elantris in December and the Emperor's Soul novella, and I'm just in the middle of the Final Empire. We are probably talking about one book per month, with doing Mistborn Era 1, we're doing Warbreaker, we're doing the 4 Stormlight books, and then we see. Maybe I do the Lost Metal because I haven't read that, same as Rhythm of War. And maybe Sunlit Man, because I have the feeling that there could be a connection to Stormlight 5, so we'll see about that. But yeah, that is like the first project of the year. The second project would be something a little bit smaller. I would call it maybe the Quarter of Ryan, because I've started two series by Anthony Ryan. The first would be his Draconis Memoria series, which is more of an, I don't know, end 1700s, starting to middle of the 1800s kind of technological world, but it's a fantasy with people getting various powers from different kinds of dragon blood. It has this era's kind of exploration theme going on as well, and I really enjoyed the first book in the series, The Waking Fire, I think it's called, and I'm in the middle of The Legion of the Flame, the second book. The second series by Anthony Ryan would be his newest series, The Covenant of Steel. I always say it's like a mix-up of grimdark Robin Hood meets grimdark Jeanne d'Arc. It's more of a first-person narrative, so back to what Anthony Ryan did in the first Bloodsong book, the indie sensation, as I might say, the thing that started indie books, at least as far as I'm concerned. We're following Alvin Scribe and his kind of scripture that he has written, and I think that is found and rewritten. So I think once in a while we get a little bit of a commentary from a narrator who is reading this transcript of what Alvin Scribe did. And I was very intrigued by the Pariah, and I'm reading The Martyr, the second book at the moment. So apart from these three series that belong to various projects. There's like 7 other series I'd like to finish. The first being A Chorus of Dragons by Jan Lyons, which is yeah, some say in the beginning it reminds you a little bit of the way Patrick Rothfuss starts off with The Name of the Wind. So you have this kind of storytelling. Somebody tells his life story, but you also have like a second point of view that also tells the life story, but it does that on another timeline. And it's very interesting to see how these timelines emerge or merge together towards the end of the novel, and you get like the first picture. So that was like the structure in the first book, like The Way of Kings. I've actually read 3 books already in the series, so I only have 2 books left. And the next one I'm going to read is The House of Always, and I'm really intrigued to see how that goes. This might be, maybe next to The Malazan Empire of the Fallen, be the most intelligent fantasy series I read so far. It has lots of twists. It's complicated, so it takes a bit of an effort, because we are talking about characters who have been reincarnated at some point in history once and again. And so sometimes it's like, oh, then you find out in the 3rd book that this character that you have been following or meeting for like 3 books is actually that character that you know from a past perspective, or telling of one of the other points of view. And it's highly confusing, but also highly entertaining. So if that sounds something you would like, then I would highly recommend that. That is, I think, one of the best modern fantasy series that we have, and it's highly underrated. Next up, we have an author. I think that is really well known on BookTube, but not for the work that I'm reading him or reading by him at the moment, and that is Daniel Abraham. He is mostly known like for his first series, the Long Price Quartet, which had some kind of resurgence 2 or 3 years ago on BookTube, and everybody was reading like the Long Price Quartet. He's also known for his new series. There he has like 2 books out of 3. And of course, for being one half of James S.A. Corey, the pen name where he and Ty Frank write the Expanse series in science fiction. But I am reading The Dagger and the Coin by him. This is another fantasy series that he did, a 5-book series starting with The Dragon's Path, I think the first one is called. The second is The King's Blood, and I'm on the 3rd book at the moment, which is The Tyrant's Law, and we're following a cast of characters. I think you always have like 4 to 5 points of view per book. As with always with Daniel Abraham, it's very character focused. It's a more like slow burning kind of book, but it does really well in showing like consequences of like decisions people are making and how that shapes us. So if you're into something like that, with a little bit of like fantasy economics woven into it, not in every point of view, but especially in one, it's a very interesting series. I think I've rated the first book 4 stars and the second book 5 stars. So it's a great series so far. Yeah, and as I talked about James S.A. Corey, where Ty Frank and Daniel Abraham write under that pen name, one of the other series I'd like to do is the Expanse series, because I'm like 5 books deep into this 9-book series. So we have like the first science fiction entry on the list, and I had like a blast reading through Leviathan's Wakes and Caliban's War way back when they came out. And I think then I've read the third book in the series, Abaddon's Gate, and that was like more of an okay read for me. And then I read the fourth book, Sibylla Byrne, and I didn't really connect with that. And then I did like a huge pause of the series, maybe for a couple of years, and then I really randomly picked up Nemesis Gate, liked that way more, but never followed up on this. And this is also like a couple of years back. And so with now all the 9 books are being out and all the novellas are being out, I want to just like finish the series, and so I'm reading Babylon's Ashes at the moment. So, moving on from Daniel Abraham's works, I'm also reading the Legacy series by Matthew Ward, which is more of a classical epic fantasy, with epic being the main term. Here we're following a huge cast of characters. We have like exiled princes in a southern border kingdom. We have champions of the council that are doing politics, but also leading wars. We have very interesting like concepts of magics, of gods being involved in the world. We have an empire that pray to the moon goddess and getting like powers from them, invading the countries that we know, that where most of our protagonists live in. But we also get like a view of one of the characters within that empire. So yeah, it is a large scope, and I really enjoyed the first book in the series, and I'm reading Legacy of Steel now, which is the second book in the series, and it's also fantastic at the moment. So I'm really looking forward to have this series completed, hopefully within the first quarter as well. We'll see about that. So next up we have another science fiction series, a very obvious one that I've really been sleeping on, and that is the Red Rising series, because I've never been on the hype train of that series. It started with Red Rising, and there I always heard like, oh, this is another YA series, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, then I'm not interested in it. And then that series got momentum, and it was hyped, but I know that other YA series are hyped as well, and I don't care for them, so I never picked it up. And then 2 years ago, on a whim, because I saw many people then reading Dark Age, like the 5th book in the series, and they were like, yeah, and like only the first book and this is even not really YA, and then it becomes like this very huge space opera with lots of twists and turns and gut punching moments, and I was always like, yeah, all right, keep talking. But then I picked up like Red Rising and read it like 2 years ago, and I was entertained. It was a good book. I rated it 4 stars, but I was not like hyped at all and over the moon. It was like I could see where the YA tendencies from some of the themes came from, and yeah, I was intrigued, but not like on the hype train. And then last year I saw a video, I think once again on the German channel Larissa's Library, where she was reading like the whole series and discovering it throughout 2023, and she was like, this is so good. This is awesome. And if you read one book, you can't wait to pick up the next one. And I thought, did I miss something? Does she know something that I didn't see in there? And so in December I picked up Golden Sun, and I finished that in January as well. And wow, that was something else. Pierce Brown's writing is like amazing in this kind of twist and turns. I always say you have your tiny reader's soul, and then your reader's soul is then matched up against an overwhelming force of like an infantry of ideas. And when you, at the moment where you clash with that infantry and you don't know how your poor little reader soul is going to survive the clash, you're, oh my god, there's another dragon fighting on their side as well. And when you think about what should I do, I don't know what to do with the infantry and the dragon, you turn to your left and be just like run down by cavalry. And you turn to your right and then you're smashed by a train. And you think like, whoa, 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 what's happening there? Why is there a train inside my fantasy kind of thing? And at this moment the dragon flies over you and rains down fire. And your poor little reader soul is like, this is fine. This is fine. And then you get smashed on the head by a hill giant and his huge club that you have never seen coming from the back. And this is what Anthony Ryan does to your soul, like constantly, during the books. And it is fun. So I want to continue with the series. So, that only I always have to like look a little bit over there to see the series that I haven't talked about. That leaves two series to talk about. One being the Otherland series by Ted Williams, which is a cyberpunk series, multi-point of view series. It's an older series that he finished like around the early 2000s, and I think started in the 90s. I'm pretty sure mid 90s to end 90s, something like that. One of the reasons was because when the first book, City of Golden Shadows, came out in the 90s, I really enjoyed it and never continued with the series. So that's how long I'm actually already stuck within the series with just having read like the first book. And I heard that, I don't know actually where, might be HBO, but I'm not totally sure. There's like at least a concept floating around of doing a TV show based on the Otherland books by Ted Williams, and I wanted to pick them up again because I really enjoyed that. I think cyberpunk is not something that you come across as often. And so I just wanted to give that series a go, reread Otherland, which I'm doing right now, and yeah, then continuing on with the series. And the last and final series is also a well-known series on BookTube SFF, I think, and it's the Lycanius trilogy by James Islington. If you've seen my top 5 reads of 2023, you have seen that The Will of the Many was like my second favorite book of last year. And I really enjoyed that. And that reminded me that in, I think, 2018, I've read the first book in James Islington's first series, the Lycanius trilogy, The Shadow of What Was Lost, but never actually finished the series. And once again, I really enjoyed the book. We're following like 3 main characters who start off together in some kind of a magical school for gifted, but the magic users in this world are despised on, and they have rules put on them by some kind of magical decree as well. so they are kept in line and limited in their power, and really early on things happen that yeah, bring the characters to move away from the school, and we're following these three protagonists. Then we get like a fourth point of view, like inserted towards maybe the halfway point of the novel as well. And it's a really enjoyable series, but as I said, I never finished it, and so I'm almost done with the reread of The Shadow of What Was Lost. I'm actually right at this moment. I have 2 hours left in the audiobook, so I'm pretty confident that after like editing and uploading this video, I'm going to be able to finish the book and then move on to the next one in the series. So, to not make a very long video even longer, I think these are the 10 series I want to read. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of the various projects of the series. Have you read any of the series? Please, no spoilers of course, but did you enjoy them? Are you also like stuck in some series? So please let me know, and I hope that you get bitten by a really good book too. Bye.